My name is Stan Lanier. For the past 2 years, I've been under the care of Dr. Miles at Upper Cervical Health Centers in Hickory, North Carolina. My journey towards upper cervical care really began probably 25 years ago. My occupation has always been sales, so I'm on the road a lot. In a period of 6 years, I had 3 major accidents. The first 2, my head struck the windshield and crushed the windshield. The third one, I was at a stoplight, rear-ended with an automobile doing more than 50, and I had severe whiplash. The doctor that examined me at the time told me in 5 years you will not be able to move your neck. Fortunate for me, he was wrong on the 5 years, but he was absolutely correct. As time went by, I lost all movement in my neck, had maybe 25%. When you do a lot of driving, you're on the road and you can't turn your head, it makes for some exciting times in driving. Lots of times I've literally almost had accidents that were my fault because I could not see. This goes on. During the period I'm losing movement in my neck, I noticed my back. I had lots of pain in my lower back, started having pain in my feet and also my knee. When you're young, you have to work, you do things you have to, you live through pain. So as time went on, the pain increased. You take more Tylenol or whatever for relief, and you just go on with your life. I didn't really understand how bad I was because it grows on you daily. My hobbies were woodworking and golf. Because I had a concrete floor in my shop, the pain got to the point I just quit woodworking. So there goes part of my life. Time goes on, my back and my knee hurt. I would not play golf unless my job required it. So there's part of my life gone again. So your world gets smaller, the pain increases, and you go on with your life. When I was 64 years old, I had some major heart problems. Went in the hospital and come back. For the first time in my life, I really had time to just sit and evaluate, where am I, what's going on in my life, and it scared me to realize I can't do anything anymore. My life is almost to the point I just can't do anything physical. My wife for years had told me upper cervical will help me. She was under the care of Dr. Miles, but I would not do it because being a man and stubborn, we don't believe anything. In fact, my wife for years had gone to natural healers. She believes in it. And jokingly, I'd call them chicken doctors. They kill a chicken and throw it in the floor and throw the blood around. So when she tried to get me to try Dr. Miles and upper cervical, I said, I am not going to your chicken doctor. I held on to that. I hurt every day, but I'm stubborn. One day I noticed my hand was going to sleep. It would last 3 or 4 minutes. The numbness would go away. It moved up into my shoulder. It moved up into my neck. My knee had got to the point I was facing surgery on my knee. Now I'm facing surgery on my back and neck. And to be honest with you, I was desperate. Asked my wife to please make an appointment with her chicken doctor. So here I am at Dr. Miles and upper cervical. The first time in, he explained the procedure. And when you hear it, it sounds simple, and you think, it is so simple it cannot work. Did the x-ray process, and he told me, so give me a week to evaluate it and come back, which I did. On my first time in, he showed me on the x-rays what's wrong, what had happened during the years, why I was hurting. I had one leg shorter than the other one because it's just part of the process. He tells me we're going to do this twice a week starting, and I'll bring you in. You're going to stay out of alignment. We'll put you back in. This is not a quick heal, but it will work. Being the pessimist I am, the first thing I thought was, he'll bring me in just as long as I'll come and I'll get nothing out of this. I started with no expectations, just desperation is what brought me here. After 3 weeks, I noticed I no longer had any numbness in my hand or arm. It just completely disappeared. That was the first sign that this really works. After 3 months, I was reading the paper one morning, looked out the window, and all of a sudden I realized for the first time in years I could turn my head. I had no pain. It just surprises you. It makes you happy because we learn to live with pain as part of your day. When it goes away, it's really a great thing. I continued the process. Noticed the pain in my back was not as bad. My knee was feeling better. Dr. Miles tells me this goes on, you'll reach a point one day, your body's going to resist, and you're going to go through a period you'll have pain. 7 months in, after an adjustment for 3 days, I was in severe pain. Called and told him, he said, you're going through the process. In 3 days it subsided. Since that point, I've had nothing but positive. I had reached a point as far as physical, I could not do anything. Now I can do anything I want to. The only restrictions that I have to put on myself is my age. Dr. Miles can't cure that. But this process works. I can assure you I no longer call him my chicken doctor. I'm a firm believer that everyone needs to be under the care of an upper cervical doctor. It worked for me and it worked for you. Thank you. On my first trip to see Dr. Miles after my x-rays, he did the adjustment, put me in the room to relax. Because of the pain in my back, I could barely lay down. Usually he leaves you for 30 minutes. After 10 minutes, I would be sitting up. He would adjust me, put me in the room. He'd come to get me. I'd always be sitting up waiting on him. I could not lay down because of the pain. This lasted for probably a month, and for the first time in my life, I could lay on my back. It's a wonderful thing.